All right, welcome back. So I've added two new files here. Um, to be honest, I don't have the syntax memorized. It's really hard to memorize the syntax. So just copy what I have, pause the video, copy this down, put it into your style table row .tsx that I just added to the components here, and then we'll figure out how we use this. But basically, this uses the MUI styled thing from the MUI system, which requires client-side rendering. So I have use client here. It should be rendered on the client anyway, since we have use client on the page level, but this is just an extra level of security in case we change something, because we know that using styled has to be on the client side. So what is this doing? This is creating a new component here called styled table row, which equals the styled table row. Okay, styled table row, which gets passed in. Table row, of course, is the MUI table row that we saw. And then nth of type odd means that this CSS styling applies to odd number rows, and nth of type even applies to even rows. All makes sense so far? So now all we have to do to use this new styling, this crazy custom CSS, is go back to our table, and we're going to import that. We're actually going to get rid of table row here, and we're going to import styled table row from that custom component that we created. And I'm going to do it like this because I don't like using relative pathing for most things. Wait, what isn't allowed? Because it's got to be slash. There we go. All right, so table row is not defined, but we change this to styled table row. So actually, let's do a find and replace just to simplify this. We'll say everywhere it says table row, we'll replace it with styled table row. We want to skip the first ones, so actually we want to start here. Good, 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 good. There we go. So every one of these has now become a style table row, and now you can see that the odd number rows, which actually the header counts as an odd number because it's in table head, and then the first row here, or it counts as an even. Is it the 0th or the first? Let's actually check here. Let's see. So this is odd. Let's say we apply this crazy dark. Okay, so it's considered odd. It's considered the first row here for CSS's purposes. Okay, so we just have a slight light blue shade covering these, every other one of these. And that just makes it a little bit more readable. Everyone likes having that kind of styling. So the other thing we're going to do is actually, I want to style the header separate from the body here. So we'll look at style table cell now. This is going to be styling specific to cells based on whether it's in the head or the body here. So this styling, this is very confusing. This uses a template literal as a selector. It's basically just grabbing the head cells, which are all the TH cells, and it's applying this styling to it, which is a dark background color, light font, and a font weight of bold. We actually don't need this text transform capitalize. It would just capitalize each word that needs to be capitalized, but we're actually already capitalizing them appropriately as needed. Again, you're going to have to pause the video and just copy this down. Make sure you're using backticks here. This is how we use template literals. So make sure you're using backticks where you're supposed to be. Again, this is impossible to really memorize how this syntax looks exactly. It's a little bit too weird. So it's just something that I have copied and pasted, and I use from project to project as needed. It's nice to be able to style MUI components. It's just kind of annoying that it's done in such a convoluted way. So now we're going to import that styled table cell, and we're going to take table cell out of here. So everywhere that we have a table cell, we're now going to apply that styled table cell. So we're going to have table cell, and we're going to replace it with styled table cell, making sure that we start here. Good. There we go. I think we got all of them. Go back over here. Now suddenly our header is bold and has a different background color. So I like the tables, but I don't really like their styling that much. They're all too plain. They're all the same color, even the header. So this gives our table a little bit more of a unique appearance. We can obviously play with the color scheme if we want. We can tweak that stuff as needed. But now our table has custom styling.